Welcome to the Creativity Den with
Tina
and Karis, where we seek to empower and inspire individuals within the entrepreneurial community by sharing valuable insights, stories, and strategies to elevate your business and growth-oriented mindset.
Through candid conversations, we seek to provide you with the knowledge and motivation you need to succeed. And today we're discussing partnerships.
So, this has been something that we went through recently, and we always like to talk about things that we go through, that we're growing through, and we are in a friendship, but we're also in a business relationship. Is what we came to realize with the Creativity Den. Because even though this is a creative outlet, at the end of the day, it still comes back to being business.
In order for a podcast to be successful, and we heard it from a friend not long ago, you have to hit 20 episodes. That's like a bare minimum. So a lot of people that start podcasts don't even get to 20 episodes. And let me tell you, 20 episodes doesn't seem like a lot, but you have to structure it like to your day, obviously, because you have to get it done, and we get it done weekly. So when you structure it to your day, 20 episodes, that's like 20 weeks, so it's a long time. There's more to just like sitting down and filming, right? There's so many miscellaneous things that before even starting this podcast, I didn't even take into account or didn't even know. For example, the webcam, the microphones, the location, the lighting, the editing, the reels, the Instagram, the TikTok. Like, there's so much to go with it.
We've learned a lot through this because we're different.
Yeah.
And we always knew we were different, which is what was really good about our relationship, or is really good about our relationship, is that it's very yin and yang, and we like that balance. But then when it comes to business, that's where we notice that it could be a little bit of a challenge, because you like things done a certain way, and I like things done a certain way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's just learning how to work that together, because in a relationship, in our personal friendship, it's like no big deal. Like, we coordinate, it's chill, no big, we get together, we talk, we hang out, we grow, we do all these things. But when it comes to an intentional creation of a podcast, it's where it gets a little bit different. It's a lot different, actually. There's a lot of little things that go into it that build this whole thing.
Yeah. So like, to get into detail with you guys, so you guys know like a little bit about like where we're coming from and why we're stating this. It's like, for example, the way that I am, and we can each explain like how we are. So the way that I am is I'm very go. That's like my lifestyle. I do a lot. And it's doing a lot. It's what keeps me sane, honestly. It keeps me in alignment, and I'm happy that way. So when it comes to me doing something, I like to do it either 100%, and it's like, I like to do it, not saying that you don't like to do it 100%, but I'm saying like, this is me. And so then like, and if we say, hey, we're going to meet at this time, at this hour, like, it is an expectation to me. It's like very black and white when it comes to business. In that aspect, it's like, hey, we're meeting here. Okay, we're meeting here, and that's it. Okay, we're doing this. Okay, we're doing this, and that's it. And if it's not working, then obviously I'm very open to pivoting and trying different ways and different to get different results, right? So that's my lifestyle and the way that I do things, and this is how I do everything. Like how I go to the gym. I go to the gym all the time at a certain time every morning. I tend to eat right, so it's just how I live my life. And Karis is a lot more chill.
Yes. I am very go with the flow. So I learned this new word from my coach, pronoia, and it's very just describing of who I am, of just knowing that everything's always going to work out. And so I have expectations, but I'm not attached to how it's going to happen, how I'm going to get there. Because I know that everything is just working in my favor. Like, if something didn't work out the way that I initially thought it was going to work out, then in my mind it's like, oh, it's fine. It's going to work out anyway. Just in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I've was reading my journal yesterday, and I came to realize that I've been working on that for a while, like for the past 4 years of me. And I wrote down on one of the pages, I don't like being in a rush. I want to live my day, and I want to be in a calm, peaceful energy.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I don't want to worry about how things are going because I know that they're working out. And so it doesn't mean I don't care about things. It's just that the way that I view the world is just, it'll work out.
Yeah.
It's always working out.
Yeah.
And I know, not to say that you don't believe that things aren't always working out, but you like things done a certain way of, like you said, oh, well, we said this is going to happen, so we're going to do things this way. And it's really just coordinating your schedules. And one thing we've learned is over fucking communicate. What you're thinking, like, the other person doesn't know. So you have to let them in to your mind and let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
I can't make an assumption. Like, I think, was it yesterday that I told you part of the story, and I guess, like, I didn't realize that I didn't tell you the whole thing, and you were like, well, Karis, you didn't tell me that. So now I know. And so it's realizing that the other person doesn't live in your mind, and then you have to over communicate everything.
Yeah. And I think very few people just automatically, right off the bat, come out of their mother's womb and over communicate. I think it's learned. I struggle with that myself. Yeah. Like, I still feel like I need to over communicate, or sometimes I don't understand from others because they don't over communicate. And I'm not saying that we're stupid or anything, but it's just like maybe when you over communicate, you say a lot more things that can help the other person understand and have more clarity.
Yeah. And one thing I've learned about myself is that I need over communication. Don't just tell me something and then expect me to be like a soldier and just agree to it.
Yeah.
I like to know why. I like to have the reasons behind things. I like, ever since I was little, I was always like, but why?
Yeah.
I was that kid. But why? But why does that work? And it's not like, I'm curious about how things work. I need to know the foundation behind it so that I know how things work, and then I can implement them properly. It's not just, hey, do this document A, B, C, and D, and that's it. And I need to know why we do it A, B, C, and D. I know when I started in entrepreneurship and wholesaling, I was doing acquisitions, and I was doing dispositions, and the whole point is that we would have weekly meetings. I hate meetings. I was the worst. I would act up at them every single time. Like, I was bored, I was on my phone, I was doodling, I was like just not giving my time to it. And what I came to realize is that when you're in meetings, you are working on the business.
Yeah.
And doing things when you're like on the day-to-day, when you're talking to clients, that's working in the business. And it is so important to also work on the business. But I didn't know that. And it was because they were just show up to this meeting because we said so.
Yeah.
But if I have the understanding behind why, I'm going to take it serious. I have weekly meetings now every week. And I make sure that we're there and it's intentional. That there's a reason behind it. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I read this book called The Ultimate Sales Machine just recently, and it speaks a lot about like solo entrepreneurs. So I just launched my business a couple of weeks ago, and so then now I'm laughing because I know the importance, like how you're stating of these meetings, of working on the business and creating that time and being intentional. So I host my own meetings all by myself on Wednesdays. If anyone wants to join, no, just kidding. But it's like I feel sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm on time.
You're checking
that.
Of course, because it's just you.
I'm here, ready to win. Yep.
Yep.
But it starts that way, and yeah, I think being intentional and like you said, just like piggybacking to everything that you said, I completely agree and see the importance of all of that.
But you have to know why.
Yeah.
Because if somebody was just like, Christina, just show up to this
a meeting by yourself.
Yeah. You're like, what do I need to have a meeting by myself? Like if we hadn't told you why it's so important, if you hadn't read it in books of why it's so important to have meetings, even when you're by yourself, then you would have blown it off.
Yeah.
You would have said, I don't need that right now. It's just me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's like really like a different perspective. It's like, yeah, it's just you, but you get to create the time to analyze what you're doing and just like seeing the results on what it is that you're doing, and if there's anything that you could be doing better or differently to gain more results. So I don't think I would give myself that time if I wasn't aware and didn't know the why of why these meetings, even as one person, is so important.
Yeah. Because you would think that's funny. Like,
yeah, because it's kind of weird.
No,
a little bit.
Like, it reminds me of Napoleon Hill. You know how he says to have your counsel like in your mind, and you have like 10 imaginary people at your table.
Yes. Thank you for joining me today.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. No, but I realized, Tina, that as we're having this conversation, and that's why our conversations are so powerful and so amazing to actually speak things out.
Mm-hmm.
We are not having weekly meetings.
You and I? No,
for the creativity den. And that's what's causing us a lot of issues. Yeah. Disagreements. Because the thing is, the way we run our business meetings, and this is a business, is through traction. And it's a book, and it tells you how to run your meetings, how to run your quarterly meetings, how to run your yearly meetings. It gives you a VTO. And when you started your LLC, when you started your business, I gave you the foundation for all of this. And we didn't do that for the creativity den.
Yeah.
We set an intention for the creativity den. We set like what were our goals. But we didn't put it down on paper to say, like, this is our VTL, this is our vision of where the creativity den is going.
Yeah.
This is our rocks of the things that we have to do, and assigning those things so that there are no misunderstandings, so that there's not like any, well, I did this, I thought you were going to do it, which we've come to in the past where it's like, oh, I uploaded the video, or I thought you were going to upload the video.
Yeah.
And so then we thought that putting people into place, like leveraging people, which we have done, and we have an amazing team member, just one.
Yeah, no, but he's great. He does like the freaking work of like 100 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who help us with everything, and right now we're coming into having somebody else edit our podcast, and that'll be the first time that we do that. And we had our own we would do our own editing for a reason. It was very intentional, so that we can sit down and watch it and see how we're doing and see what we can improve.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would be more recording and not looking back at what you're creating. But it also comes with getting on the same page, and those meetings are going to be game changers for us.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should start.
Oh, we will.
Yeah,
I know it.
This week, right now.
Right now. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna go have a meeting.
See y'all later.
Yeah, and so I know you were telling me about, you had this conversation with one of your friends, and real estate mentor.
Yeah.
And he told you about 3 things that you would look for in a partnership.
Yeah, I think partnerships are hard. I see a lot of successful people who have partners, and you just see the beautiful side, right? Them always like posting, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, like I couldn't do this without this person, I couldn't do it without them. But it's very difficult. So when I launched my business, I was like, man, like it's just me. Would it be easier if I had a partner? Maybe that might help me. And so when I asked my friend about it, he just told me just straight up, because he has a very successful business, and him and his partner are very, very successful. And they've been friends for a really long time. So it's like, it just looks so easy. So when we talked about it, he was like, well, there's 3 things that you should have in a partner, and these are basically non-negotiables. You guys have to have the same vision for the business. You guys have to have the same lifestyle, believe it or not. And then you also have to have the same amount of money and same amount of workforce into it. I'm sorry, the same amount of money and the same amount of work into it.
That goes into all relationships. I know that, I mean, I'm not married yet, but I know that when
I have a cat.
people... You have dogs too?
Yeah.
You just made yourself the cat lady.
Yeah.
I have a cat.
I feel like that's just like a turn off for men. It's like, oh, what do you have? I have a cat.
You could start with your dog.
Yeah.
You do that on purpose.
I do.
That's for fun. That's a little razzle dazzle. Christina razzle dazzle. You stick it past the cat, then you could stay.
Then maybe there's a chance.
That's part of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even when you go into marriages, that's also not easy. Relationships in general, not to say that they're difficult, they're enjoyable, but they take work. You know why? Because there's 2 different people who have 2 different perspectives. And even when you're in a relationship, you cannot expect your partner to think the same way that you do, and to behave the same way that you do, and to do things that are going to be to your liking, that make you happy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't be selfish, make me happy. Don't do the things that you're doing because they make me unhappy. But then that's selfish.
Yeah.
And so it's finding a common ground where everyone is in a place where they are happy for themselves, and then bringing that together and respecting one another.
Yeah.
And coming from a place of love, because even the people that we love the most and we're looking to like watch out for them, for example, our children, when it's our children and we hold them back from having experiences that they're meant to have that are going to help them grow because we want to protect them. And so in one sense, I've seen myself wanting to protect you and give you guidance when you don't need my fucking help. Like, I mean, no, yes, you do sometimes, but if you ask for it. And in other instances, like, you're meant to grow the way that you're going to grow, and your path looks different than how mine does, and your story is going to be different than how my story looks. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to get to what we view as success. It's just that we're going to do it our own way.
Yeah. I'm guilty as charged. Like, you want to help someone and you know the way because you've done it. So why are you smiling?
Christina's mugshot. You'll see us charged.
Stupid.
Continue.
Why did your mind even go there? Oh, I know why.
Sorry.
Okay. So,
Guilty as charged.
But it's like we know what's worked. We've like paved the way, and sometimes it's so easy because we see the road so clear that it's like, hey, like, go this way, do this, like, you're gonna get here if you do it this way. But the other person might not either learn that way or like accept things in that form. Maybe not like just in general, but at that time when they're going through it, because it might just be full of fog. And like, for example, at that one point when I first launched my business, I felt like I was in a room of just fog, and I kept hearing voices from everywhere. Hey, do this, I'm doing this works, like, this doesn't work. And I'm just like, what? You know, like, and it's like, you kind of just have to just dive in there, like in the pool of sharks, and just like fight to the death, and then like, not fight to the death, but just like, you know, kind of like swim out, and then it starts getting clearer. The sharks start leaving, the little Nemos start coming, then you start seeing like all the like the nice waves, the anemones. You start seeing those things or whatever, the corals. And so I've done this before with someone else to where I'm very much go, very just fucking do it, you know, and just think about it later. they don't work that way. So I always make, well, not always, but I would make them feel, even though I didn't mean to, like they weren't doing enough. And that was never my intention. I never meant to make anyone feel like they weren't doing enough. But I learned that only because I do it this way and I just fucking plunge doesn't mean someone else is going to do it that way. They have their own process and they're going to get to where they want to get to. As long as they have the mindset and they put in the work, everyone's going to get to wherever they want to get to. So it just takes that learning curve. Like, hey, like you can guide and you can help protect, but sometimes people just have to go through shit. And you just have to watch them.
Yeah. I also think that when
your face, dude. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm like, I'm watching. I'm watching. No, it's like, you're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And it's supporting and being there when that person needs you. But in the meantime, people have to go through it their own way. And you just said, like, you get into murky, foggy waters and you don't know what to do, and you're hearing all these things coming from different places. The reason why it's, in my opinion, so murky and so foggy is because you have so many different perspectives coming in. It's shutting everyone out and just tuning into yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is what's going to get you through this.
Yeah.
Because you're going to hear so many perspectives, and if you have that shiny object syndrome and you want to follow what everyone is saying, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to get somewhere.
Yeah, or it's going to take a lot longer because you're trying all these things, and it's like you're not really focused on what exactly that you know how to do, what is your, like, expertise. Because I think one of the biggest things is that I guess, like, I'm still learning. It's like, yes, shiny object syndrome, so everyone's telling you all this stuff, but you need to be intentional about what everyone is telling you and what you're actually incorporating in yourself and in your business, because only you know what you're really, really good at. And these perspectives are supposed to fuel that fire that you're good at, not add on to that fire that you're really, really good at. That's not going to work. Either it's going to take your time or it's going to take your money.
Yeah. I usually throw money at it. I'm like, I don't want to put my time into that.
Yeah.
Somebody else can do it. I'm so grateful for my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for myself. Sorry.
Because right now it's all your time. Thank you for joining us. And it's just mirrors all around the table.
Oh, God. Employee of the year. Not to be biased.
Oh, Christina, not again. I'm so honored.
12 months in a row.
Okay. So, and then I had a therapy session with my therapist. And with my drug dealer, and then with my therapist.
I feel that.
It's called a psychologist. No, psychiatrist are the ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a therapy session, and she was saying that when people give, there is an expectation in return, and this whole give without expecting anything in return is a made-up, like, construct.
Yeah.
Because in reality, we all expect something in return. We're putting in time, we're putting in effort into this podcast, and we're expecting something in return. That we grow our viewers, that we touch people's hearts, that people resonate with us, that we are able to help others. You know, we have expectations from this. We're not just creating something and then being like, I don't need anything in return.
Yeah.
No, we want something in return. We want to harvest something. And so in relationships, everyone's watering onto the plants, and then comes a time when you harvest, and you harvest together. She said the only time that you truly give is when you give through charity.
Yeah.
And when you have, like, scholarships, things that are intentional for you to give just flat out. You don't
Yeah.
know that person, but most of the time when it comes to like your relationships, you're giving and you're expecting something in return. Not like I bought you a coffee, you buy me a coffee now.
Yeah.
Not like that, but we're putting work into this friendship to make it work.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get together, we're going to hang out. I'm going to invite you, you invite me. We're putting the time intentionally. And we're going to harvest a friendship out of it, a beautiful friendship out of it. But it doesn't come without effort.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's... I guess I've never heard of like, I've always heard actually that it's always when you give something, don't expect to receive anything back, or you should give without like expectations. But Karis and I were talking about this way earlier, and like about what her therapist said, and I was like, damn, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's so, if you really think about it, like if you have a friendship and you're the only one always reaching out, you're the only one always asking to hang out, that friendship is going to dissolve. Because it needs to be two people. It needs to be both of y'all. It can't just be one person all the time. So if it's just that one person giving all the time, that person's going to get exhausted. It's just like human nature. Like they're just like, I'm just giving, and then I'm not getting anything back. So even if love is the only thing that's back, yeah.
Time, quality time is a form of giving. And so it doesn't have to be, like I said, in monetary or physical value. It's putting effort into a relationship, into a partnership.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we put these episodes on YouTube and on Spotify. So I don't know who actually watched the YouTube episode, but on the last episode, I looked a little upset. My family have brought it up. My mom and I have gotten really, really close lately, and I just come to her a lot, and I come to her because obviously she's been knowing me since I was a baby, so she has like the most clarity out of everyone, you know. So she saw the podcast, her and my brother, and they were like, "Man, you look upset." And to be honest, I was upset. It was a lot of the things that Karis and I spoke about today that we were going through at that time, and it was just a hectic time just in my life personally, and then on top of everything, just like what we were going through together, and with the creativity den and all these other things. So now the energy today is so like, it's just it's like how it was every other time. And it's like, it's not our intention to ever put out something that we're just kind of like upset. But it is our intention to show you guys that we are human and that we're going through this, and we're going to speak about it because we want you guys to join us on this journey. And we're so serious and very transparent about that, since we've stated that from the very, very beginning. It's like we want you guys to come along. So at that time, we were going through a turmoil. And now it's like we fix it, it's different, but we understand that this is more of a business than it is like just her and I hanging out. Because when you hang out with a friend, it's like, okay, maybe sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay. You guys are just hanging out. But if we're doing this and we're posting weekly, and we're posting, you know, daily, and we have someone on board to help us and delegate everything, it's a little bit more serious. So it needs to be done with intention. And I spoke to my mom about it, and this is the first time that I'm speaking about this, but she was just like, it's kind of like where I came to that realization that people aren't gonna work the way that you work, and you just need to let be. And it's so hard to let be sometimes because you love someone so much that you want the best for them, and you want them to go the easiest route and the best route because you've already been through that shit, and it was freaking muddy. So you're like, no, go that way. So it's like my mom was just like, not everyone is like you, not everyone thinks like you, not everyone is like very go. So she's like, as a matter of fact, very few people in this world are like that. So it's like just having that like compassion and that understanding and just coming with love always. I think that's one of the most valuable lessons that Karis and I took away. And I don't mean to speak for you, but it's just like just coming with love. That's it. Like that solves so much.
Yeah. I remember we were having a conversation when we were going through all of this, and you said, I just don't feel like we're coming from love. And for a second, that was the first time that I had even that perspective come into my awareness. So I was like, maybe I'm not coming from a place of love. Maybe this isn't love. And then I realized that it is from a place of love, but not in the right way.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mom, and sometimes I want to protect my daughter, and I want to tell her not to do something because she could get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Or the same thing that you said, you want people to do what you think is the better thing because it could be safer.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and today I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning about just the same thing, about how parents want to protect their children, but it's taking away from their experiences and things that they're meant to go through.
Yeah.
Things that they're meant to grow through. And we all don't have the same path. So that was my biggest lesson, is that I am coming from a place of love, but it's not the right thing. And it's not my place to step in unless you ask me for the help.
Yeah. So as a mom, when now that you have this realization that maybe sometimes as a mother you protect your daughter a lot. So what is it that you can think about in the future to remember that, hey, maybe she should go through this, or maybe it's a good idea for her to experience this?
My body just tenses up. I'm like watching you from afar. You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah.
I think that's what it feels like, honestly.
Yeah.
You love people so much that you don't want them to go the hard way.
Yeah.
But then me, myself, I'm like, no, I want to go through it my way. So because I know that I'm like this, that's where I'm like, okay, just step back, because I don't want to be told either, oh, do it this way. Because I'm going to be like, no, I have my own way.
Yeah.
And so because I'm like that, it's easier for me to step back, but it's still going to feel like,
yeah,
you're doing great.
Uncomfortable.
Yes, uncomfortable. Yeah. That's the word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the things that I'm working on right now are that even though it's uncomfortable, getting to a place where there is no judgment. Because that's what it is. If it's not the right way, quote unquote, right way, there is no right way, there is no wrong way, then that means that there's some form of judgment that I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then me letting go of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my place to say whether if it's the right way or wrong way.
Yeah.
And I do things differently, and I don't want to be told that my way is not the way that it should be done, and that it's the wrong way. Because at the end of the day, it's all about following, like, your heart, following yourself.
Yeah.
And following your own beacon of light. Because if you do not, then that's where things get foggy.
Yeah.
You're having all these different perspectives. And I've tried it before where I've gone with other people's perspectives, and it has not worked out for me. And so then that's where I come back to remembering, no, follow yourself. Ground yourself in your own energy and in your own vision, and follow that. And so because I know that about myself, I'm able to find that within myself, then that's where it's just a reminder to have the same compassion and have the same for others.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my biggest lessons that I had. Really big lesson.
I just feel like everything is a lot easier, and sometimes you just have to go through shit, but everything's a lot easier when you have clarity and when you sat down, set the intention, and then just like went through everything. Like Karis, your coach, was saying that to journal. I just think journaling, number one, is like so powerful.
This is like the 4th episode that
of
you've
journaling.
said that,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's just it really is. It's like you just take, because
It's true. It is.
You're creating the time and you're writing down something with intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just gonna doodle.
Wait, can I cut you off for a second?
Yeah.
So you know how you just said that writing things down? So there's different ways that we process things. When they are thoughts, they are just thoughts and visions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're passing. They're for you to notice them, but they are just passing. And we have about 60,000 thoughts every single day. 90% of them are repeated from the day before. So how many thoughts are we keep thinking of that are repeated from before, which is why they say pay attention to your thoughts. So when it comes down to journaling, you are now processing it in two different ways. Through written form and putting your thoughts out there, so that now they're not just something that you are aware of, not something that's just passing. It is now something that you can see.
Yeah.
And even more so, they say that when you speak things out, now you're processing it in three ways. It's through thought, through your voice, and then you hear it.
Yeah. Damn, 90% are from yesterday.
Yes.
That's insane.
90% of our thoughts are from the day before, and we have about 60,000 thoughts every day. Women have more than men.
Of course.
Of course. That's not a shocker to anyone. But yeah, and so then that's why journaling is so powerful, because there are so many thoughts that continue to happen every single day. And when you put them down on paper, you are singling them out. You are giving your time, you're giving your awareness to those specific thoughts.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, if you have so many thoughts and they're coming from different directions of you don't know how you're feeling, because it's a mixture of I'm not doing good enough, and I'm not on the right path, and I'm not so many different things. It's hey, put it down on fucking paper. Right now, I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And then going back and analyzing that. And then even speaking to yourself and saying, I know that's not the truth. Most of the time when we pay attention to the things that we're thinking, that's unrationalized. It doesn't even make sense. It's not logical.
Yeah.
Because if you were well, my thoughts are telling me that I'm not going to be successful, and then you say it out loud, you're oh, that's kind of silly. I know. Yeah. It's what the fuck is happening? The Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill, where that's the devil that's speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because the devil is, in my opinion, already within us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those voices that want to drown you out, just as God is also within us. So you have the little angel on your shoulder, and you have also the devil on your shoulder, and one of them is speaking all these things and wants to consume you. But if you listen to the angel, then you're able to tune into so much more, and you're able to tap into light, and you're able to tap into all the things that you want, all the greatness within.
Yeah. Outwitting the Devil is such a powerful book. And there was something that I saw just recently. It was just a video about business, and it was saying, if I can get this person to think about their business, I can get them to doubt it. If I can get them to doubt it just a little bit, I can get them to quit. Yeah. But it's true. It's you have to keep busy, and my friends that are just now plunging into entrepreneurship or starting their own business, it's what we all feel. It's we gotta keep being busy. We gotta keep just grinding it out, because the moment that we have some chill time and we're man, what if my business starts going, then your mindset starts going down the drain, and your mindset is so powerful, and it's literally everything. It's what's gonna keep you going. Mm-hmm. So just keep being busy and just keep going.
So in 2022, I quit wholesaling, what I was doing, because I wanted to go a different route. And I was reading my journal last night. That's how I came across all these things. And sometimes you don't want to go into the past because cringe, but it's very helpful to go into the past, because you're able to see the amount of growth that you've had.
Yeah.
You're able to see wow, these are the things that I was going through, and in that moment they were so big. Mm-hmm. And now I am on the other side of that. And remembering that we're always going to end up on the other side of everything.
Yeah.
But I was reading my journal, and I thought in that moment, I need some time off. I've been doing entrepreneurship for a long time. It's been a lot of work. I need to take a month off. So I took a couple weeks, I was fucking crying, depressed. I was like, this isn't it. I don't need time. I didn't need time. I needed clarity.
Yeah.
And me thinking that I just needed to like relax, leave everything behind, and just like put everything behind me and just not have any worries and not do anything for a little bit was the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, the clarity's gonna come. It'll come while I'm relaxing. Stop laughing. It did not. I quickly realized that I needed to like work out. I needed to move my body. I needed to set intentions to find the clarity. I needed to write things down. I needed to take action in order to find some clarity.
Yeah.
It didn't come.
It didn't come while you were at the beach drinking a virgin pina colada.
If I was at the beach, then maybe it would have come, but no, I was on my fucking couch.
Playing the Bahamas on the TV.
Crying.
Classic. Yeah. I think like the hardest part about like just like, I mean, at least to me, like diving in is just and just starting your business is the clarity portion. I feel like once the clarity is there and the easy part is, to me, the easy part is just putting in the work. Like if you already know what you got to do and you just got to get it done, that's easy. But it's like finding out what is it that the fuck you got to do.
What do I do?
Yeah, literally. Like I'm just like, help me, brother.
Yes. Yeah, that is a difficult portion. And if, for example, you're a new entrepreneur, because this is where it'll come. If you're working a 9 to 5, you're being told what to do.
Yeah, it's easy.
The vision's already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're becoming an entrepreneur and you got to come up with your own fucking vision. And you got to come up with your own strategies, and you got to come up with your own rocks, and you got to come up with your own structure and your own goals and all of these things. Your own core values.
Yeah.
I mean, the core values, it's the easier part of it, but everything else is like, what the fuck do I do? Like,
yeah, even the name,
Yeah.
Trying to match the LLC to the domain, that took me like 30 minutes to an hour because it's like you'll find a name that you like, but then it's not, the domain's not available. Then you find one at the LLC, but then and it's at the domain, or you find one and the domain costs $3,000. It's like, why is this happening? So it's like, it really is a lot of, like, all the little miscellaneous things that you wouldn't even take into account. I definitely did not take into account any of this shit. You know, I just kind of like took the plunge, and now I'm like, oh, maybe I could have prepared a little bit. But I mean, here I am, and you just kind of have to wing it, you know. There's no going back. Like mentally, I can't go back.
I'm not a prepper. I like to dive into things. I'll experience it while I'm there.
Yeah. And
I guess like that's where if somebody loves me, they'll probably be like, but Karis, prepare.
Yeah.
Plan for it. And I'm like, no.
See you later.
Bye. You're doing great, sweetie. Yeah. So, and most of it's just coming from a place of love, really. But going back to what my coach was saying, which is what you were saying, the 4-step process of journaling.
Oh, yeah.
That she told us about is a structured way of reframing how things could have gone. Because we all know, or not everyone, that your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what has happened in the past and what is the future and what is your present. Because your subconscious, there is no concept of time. That is a conscious thing. And so when you're in your subconscious and you're able to reframe things through this 4-step process, then you're able to then go into the future, and when it happens again, be able to do it in a different way.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like you're practicing it on paper and then also in person.
I love that.
Stoicism.
Yes. Yeah.
So the 4 steps are daily wins. And I was like, big wins. And she's like, no, daily wins. And that's because a lot of the time, like the way that we are as entrepreneurs is, and just as human beings, is that we're way too hard on ourselves. We don't give ourselves the grace. We'll give others the grace. And I'll say, Tina, but you're doing wonderful. This is amazing. You've done so much. Look at everything that you've done. But then I'll do the same thing. And then I'm like, I didn't do enough. the fuck was that? That was not good enough.
Yeah.
And, you know, more than anything, and even there's people who will speak to themselves in not the nicest way. And you got to understand that the things that you're saying, like, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is not. So if you're telling yourself these things like, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, like, how could I have done this? When you're just beating yourself up like this, your brain doesn't understand that, oh, I was just playing. It was just emotional.
Yeah.
I didn't really mean it. It's like your brain doesn't know. And so putting in the intention of speaking to yourself with grace. But when she said about daily wins, I was like, big wins. And she said, no, daily wins. What is it that you did today that was a win? Because if you are, for example, like depressed and you don't have what you could call a win, your win is that there's sunlight.
Mm-hmm. You got out of bed.
That you got out of bed. That you woke up today. That you are breathing.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the same opportunities of being able to see the sun, being able to experience life without war. There's people that are going through war right now, and not being in war is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are my daily wins? My daily wins are, I drank water today. Some days I don't drink water. So I drank some water. Not enough. You want to smile? You're like, no. I drank a gallon because I said I was going to drink a gallon.
That's right.
And so it just depends on everyone's situation, right? Like, so for me, it will be, I gave the example of being depressed because that could be someone's situation. And so then their win is getting out of bed.
Yeah.
But our wins are, I drank a gallon of water.
Mm-hmm.
I worked out twice today. And then the second thing is, what are you beating yourself about? And so talk about the situations that you're going through that you're beating yourself about.
Yeah.
And then, for example, like you and I, what we had in our disagreement, and what am I beating myself about? Well, Tina and I are not doing okay right now. We had an argument. This is what we argued about. I'm feeling this way. Tina could have done better by not. No, I'm just kidding. No. She literally said specifically, you cannot control other people's actions. This is about you.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, Tina could have done better by not saying what she said because that triggered me. The key word is like it triggered you. Yes. So it's always looking within. What are you beating yourself about? And then reframing that. And how you reframe that is, what could you have done better? What is it that, how could you have done the situation or gone through the situation if you could replay it and do it again?
Yeah.
And that's where I mean your brain doesn't know the difference between what has happened and what is the future and what is the past. You're able to reframe that. And so then now if you ever go into a similar situation, then you know, and you start practicing this more, you're able to do it more often with more ease.
Yeah.
And the last thing she said was end with power words, your intention. And she had us specifically write, oh look, I went right to the page. She had us write our power words. What is, like, our past is on our right side because of how our brain wires things and how it processes things. So the right is on the past, and you write things like how you don't want to feel. I don't want to feel, what could I say? Like anger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel discomfort. I don't want to feel animosity. And so what are my power words that I can then step into? Because all emotions are something that we can embody and we can tap into the energy of words. And that is the reason why you end with power words. So what is it that I do want to step into? I want to step into calm, peace, groundedness. I want to step into liberation.
So do you Google the opposite of what you're feeling? Like intentionally Google it?
You Google words, but only to find out that the words that you think you know have sometimes deeper meanings.
Mm.
And they're simple. They're simple words, but for example, if you looked up what does enthusiasm mean? What does passionate mean? We already know what those words mean, but if you actually Google it, it gives you a deeper understanding of how to embody and how to tap into that emotion.
Okay.
So then writing down those power words. And, for me, it's like pronoia. I love that one. Knowing that everything's always going to work out at the end of the day. That everything is always happening in my favor.
Yeah.
Free is another feeling. Connected. Grounded. Vivacious. Okay.
That was beautiful, and that's definitely something that I'll be doing tonight. I love doing new stuff, especially that'll make my brain think a different way. And I love that you're always like sharing. Everything that you learn, you always share. And I think that's very important for every single one of us to do. When we learn things or when we get things, it's so important to share and just to give to people. And especially like when people want to have that clarity, that they're willing to put in the work, those are the people that you should definitely like just pour onto. But just to everyone in general as well. And I wanted to thank you guys for joining us on this episode. And I just wanted to reiterate that we are here to be as transparent as we possibly can and just be open and honest about everything that's going on and about our intentions and everything that we're putting in for the creativity. Then I mean it's getting more and more real. but I love it. Like it's so much fun and it's a great time. Karis and I are like yin yang, and so there might be so many people in our audience that maybe relate a little more to Karis, or some people that relate a little bit more to me, or some people that are just in the blend, just right stuck in the middle. So it's like it's great that we're like this because we can reach out to so many people that are just so different. Mm-hmm. That's what we're here for. It's just to share our knowledge and to share everything that we're doing and we're experiencing and just taking you guys home for the ride. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you on the next one.